Before we get into this brand new tournament, we have a lot of things from Slanman Customs to showcase today, like this starting gate with a remote control, and we also have this new finish line, which has a very specific timer, so we can have a better idea of who has a faster time. Slanman Customs has everything for your racetrack building needs. If you need a curve, whether it has multiple lanes or just a wide open curve, they have things like that. They have starting gates, they have finish line things. If you need connectors, they have plenty of options for you. And they have so many obstacles and other ideas that you could use in order to make your own epic racetrack and possibly have your own tournaments. Feel free to check out Slanman Customs and all the different options and ideas that they have for you, including decor that you can add to the sides to make your track feel more alive. Go to slanmancustoms.com to learn more. You can also check out their Facebook page, their Instagram page, and so much more. They're just a click away, so check out what they have and see what you like. We also want to let you know that we are having our next custom mail-in tournament very soon. If you want to participate or want to learn how, check out the Facebook page for more information. But for now, it is time for day one of the Widowmaker tournament. Let's see who the first group to start this tournament off will be. It's the Mitsubishi Eclipse, the Engineering Edinus, the Corvette C6, and the 16 Angels. I feel like I'm probably mispronouncing Engineering's name, so if I am mispronouncing it, please let me know in the comments how to properly pronounce it in case they make it in the future. In this first race though, the Corvette C6 is out in front right now, and the Angels are trying to keep up with him. So far they are actually closing that gap a little bit. Will they be able to continue doing so? It looks like they will, as they are right hot on their tail at this point, and they're spinning the Corvette around, but it's not enough. And they go over that hill, and they manage to pass the Corvette and take the first win of the tournament. And we have a racer going upside down, stopping short of the finish line. But Engineering manages to push the Eclipse across. And you may have noticed as we got down towards the end of the track, this massive hill right near the end, this could be a big game changer for many racers. Some people may get nervous to drive too fast or lose control near the end. They might fly off the track if they're not careful. But regardless, it could throw a big wrench into some of these races in the future. I'm also worried that some racers who are too slow may not even get over that hill at all. But as we get into heat number 2, it's the 16 Angels who are currently in the lead, but they are starting in the back row this time. Each racer will start in each position at some point during these heats. So don't worry about racers getting a disadvantage or an advantage based on where they start, because each one will start in each spot. In heat number 2, it is the Corvette and the Mitsubishi Eclipse out in front right now, and the Eclipse is trying to pass the Corvette like the Angels did. So far unsuccessful. As we get over this hump though, it looks like they're successful as they manage to correct themselves after that bumpy landing, and they finish in first. And it looks like Corvette actually finished in third after all that. And I'm glad we have a camera focused on this specifically, because you can see just how much of a game changer it will become. I am certain of it. But it looks like the Eclipse may have our new fastest time already of a 17.99. I have a good feeling we'll get faster times later, but you gotta start somewhere. But now with that first place finish, the Mitsubishi Eclipse is out in front in terms of points. And they are starting in front this time in heat number 3. But as we get into the lane merger, that could change. But he goes around the outside and he manages to hold on to the lead, and he's trying to expand it as the race progresses. Getting around that turn, the other 3 are starting to fall behind, so it's the Mitsubishi Eclipse trying to maintain control. He is bouncing off the walls a little bit, which can be very bad in terms of trying to maintain a lead, because every hit off the wall can slow you down significantly. They get over the hill, they do slide sideways, and Engineering manages to pass him, and Mitsubishi Eclipse manages to hold on to second place. And the other 2 racers fall just short. That is about the closest you can get without finishing at all. particularly with the Corvette, and the Angels stops right in front of them, right behind them rather. But regardless, neither one of them finished, so neither one of them will get any points. The Mitsubishi stopped partly, but then they got nudged forward by the other two, and Engineering managed to do a very seamless drive around to get around Mitsubishi and take the lead and the win in that race. And Engineering definitely needed something like that, because not only did they finish in first, but two of the racers that were in front of them did not finish at all, so now they have a good shot to move on. That being said, though, they are in dead last right now, so they will need something to happen here in order to keep their chance alive. Right now, Mitsubishi Eclipse is back out in front, and the Corvette and the Angels are staying relatively close together. And now the Eclipse is about to approach that hump. Can he stay on his feet this time? No! He skids upside down, stops right before the finish line. It looked like the timer was still counting, so he didn't finish initially. But once again, a racer got nudged forward, and this time it was the Eclipse who took the win in that race, so it looks like he will move on. And I'm not entirely sure who is going to be joining them, because this guy who got a lucky break in that last race, he finished in, I think, last. Let's take a closer look at that. Mitsubishi Eclipse does finish in first. I think the other two did finish. I'm not sure about the Corvette from that angle. Yeah, everybody did finish, but I guess Engineering had enough points that he will join Mitsubishi in today's finals. Now here comes the second group, which has the Audacious, the Ford Shelby, the Stingray, and the DeLorean. If there are any Back to the Future fans out there, tell me which Back to the Future movie is your favorite one and why. But for now, we'll get into this race, which has the Stingray currently out in front, while the other three are staying relatively close together, not too far behind. It looks like they are managing to close the gap a little bit, because the Stingray is constantly pinballing off the walls. And like I said a moment ago, every bounce off the walls can cause you to slow down, giving the other racers an upper hand. In fact, they are not moving that fast at all right now. Will they be able to get over that hill? Yes, they will. And they do manage to get the first win of this group. And it looks like the DeLorean will be finishing in second place. Let's see what happens as each of the racers pass over that hill. Looked like he was able to stay on the track for the most part. I don't think anybody really went that airborne. In terms of time, though, they did finish with a 19.84. So that is definitely not the fastest time we've seen so far. But they did finish in first, and right now that is all that matters. Into heat number 2, the two set up in front are the Stingray, and I believe that's the Ford Shelby. Right now the Stingray is trying to stick his nose out in front so he can hold on to the lead as the lanes merge together, and that's exactly what he does. That seems to be an important element right now. If you start in one of the front two positions, if you can get your nose out in front, that could help you significantly. But right now the Stingray is trying to fight off the Ford Shelby and the Audacious. The Ford Shelby is trying to pass him, but goes diagonal, loses a lot of speed. Audacious manages to pass him, and the Stingray does go airborne for a moment, but manages to get back on his feet and keep going, and the Audacious finishes in second, the Ford Shelby in third, and the DeLorean in last. Look at this, he does manage to go airborne, but he doesn't really spin around. Those two managed to stay on their feet, not going too far into the air, and the DeLorean I really don't think went airborne whatsoever. This was a bit of a closer race overall, so maybe we'll see some crazy finishes still. Right now, though, in terms of points, the Stingray has 2 wins under their belt. They just need 1 to automatically move on to at least today's finals, and greatly increasing the confidence and possibly moving on to the grand finals. But that being said, they are way back in last right now, and they've lost so much of a position, but the DeLorean managed to almost get stuck on that turn. They might have gotten completely stuck, actually. But no, they actually managed to get back on their wheels and keep going. But right now, it's the Ford Shelby and the Audacious fighting for first place. The Ford Shelby does have the lead, but he spun around after landing over that hill, and the Audacious vehicle managed to take the win that time. Who will finish in third and fourth? It looks like nobody will. Both of them got stuck on the last turn before that hill. And I guess the DeLorean figured if he's not going to finish, he's going to stop this other one from finishing too. And look at that. The Ford Shelby actually almost went off track. Their wheels went over the railing for a second. And I'm sure that was a massive speed loss there. But because the other two racers didn't finish, the fact that these other two did, is a massive help to them. And the Stingray is no longer undefeated. And it's not guaranteed now that they will be moving on. The Audacious is currently in the lead, followed closely by the DeLorean. If the DeLorean can finish well enough, he might still be able to move on, but it's hard to tell at the moment. But the Audacious is currently holding on to the lead. The DeLorean manages to catch up to him, and he's trying to pass him. Will he be able to? It looks like he will, but they're moving so slowly now. They still managed to get over that hump, thankfully. And the DeLorean finished in first that time, and the Stingray in second. I'm not sure if that first place finish is going to be enough for the DeLorean, though. We'll have to check the points in a second here. But it looked like everybody except for the Ford Shelby managed to stay on their feet going over that hill. I should say wheels instead of feet, but hey. It was not enough for the DeLorean. The Audacious and the Stingray are moving on to the finals. We've definitely had some close calls already in terms of this group. Or both groups, rather. And now these four, who are very similar in color, actually, are all racing together in today's finals. And the top two will be moving on to the grand finals, which will happen much further down the line. Right now, it is the Mitsubishi Eclipse in the lead right now. And I don't know about you guys, but as of recording this, the total eclipse of the moon passing over the sun is happening very soon where I am. So I'm very excited for that, so maybe I'm rooting for the eclipse a little bit just for that. And they do get the first win of today's finals, finishing with a 17.7, not bad. And then the Stingray comes out of nowhere and at least manages to finish. Even if you get 1 point, that is certainly better than 0. And it looked like some of these racers were bouncing off the railing of the track just like they were before. But it looked like everyone was able to at least keep from spinning sideways too much. That is going to be a key element in terms of the last few inches before the finish line. Is that if you can stay straight, that could ultimately save you if somebody else is in front of you but they start skidding sideways. Right now the Mitsubishi Eclipse does have the first win. They are starting in the back too, but they are nudging forward, trying to at least get second. So far unable to do so, as the engineering, I believe, is stopping them from doing so. And now the Eclipse is actually in last, as Audacious is out in front. And they are trying to expand that lead while the other two are fighting. The other three, rather. But they did lose a bit of speed, so the other three are trying to catch up right now. They're getting very close, and the Mitsubishi Eclipse is coming out of nowhere, trying to take the lead back, so far unable to. And they are trying to block the other racers. I am not sure who finished in what position there. That is the definition of an exciting, nail-biting, close race. It's not every day all four finish around the same time. We'll have to see. It looks like the Stingray managed to get the win that time. Audacious finishing in second, Engineering in third, and the Mitsubishi Eclipse finishing in last. So now we have 3 racers tied with 6 points each. Engineering only has 4, but the fact that the other 3 have 6, his chances are still relatively good. Not promising, but still a possibility to move on, because it is the top 2, remember. The Audacious is out in front once again, but so far he is struggling to maintain a decent lead, and now the Eclipse is coming back for more. Going around that last turn, the Mitsubishi Eclipse is trying to find some way to pass him, and the Audacious managed to grind on the rail for a little bit. He didn't fly off the track, but he definitely had some style, finishing in first there. Take a look at this launch. He went way over into the air, actually bounced off both walls, I think, and the Audacious did grind a little bit, but it wasn't enough to lose speed to the point other racers would pass them. So that is a big help to them, and the Mitsubishi Eclipse did finish in second. So now, the favorite tips for Mitsubishi Eclipse, and I believe the Audacious. But the points are still relatively close. The Stingray could still pull something off here. I'm not sure about engineering though. But at the beginning of this race, the Eclipse is already in front of Audacious, which he had trouble doing before. And now that lead is beginning to expand. They get around this turn, they are not slowing down much. They are able to keep in relative control as they approach this hill. And they go way into the air, but they manage to quickly get stable and finish in first. So it looks like the Eclipse will be moving on along with Audacious. Valiant efforts all around, but only two could move on, and now we know who those two will be. A beautiful airborne moment, and the Audacious keeps closer to the ground that time, same with the other two. And they finished with a 16.87. That might be the fastest time. I'd have to go back and double check just to be sure. But finishing under 17 seconds right now is a good sign. The Mitsubishi Eclipse and the Audacious fill up the first two spots of the Grand Finals. Thank you so much for watching. See you for day 2.